Welcome to the Dear Lacrosse Pod. This is episode 6. I'm your host, Angie Benson. I'm here with my BFF slash business partner slash arch nemesis in like middle school lacrosse field. I don't know.
Everything bestie.
Everything bestie. Like we got matching bestie tattoos. Like bestie type deal. Anywho. We're out here in Las Vegas. I've been out here for about like 10 days or so. One, I wanted to see this concert slash DJ slash festival in the Sphere, and it was the coolest life-changing experience of my entire existence, and I would go again. I wish I went more times. But that happened. So then we had some lacrosse. We started a sixes program out here. So that's been fun. And then we had like a beginner's clinic, to grow the game and do things. And now we are on our way to California to go to SandStorm. Did you ever play at SandStorm?
No, I never went there.
No, neither did I.
I stayed East Coast.
Same here. East Coast people. I guess we're going. But with this, we're combining our sixes program that's in Vegas with some of our Florida kids are in South Florida, and we're like mosh-poshing the team together because that's what lacrosse is all about. Can we get into like grad years?
Yeah.
Do you agree with them? I don't. One, because you're never gonna play with your same age for like your whole career.
I agree.
Ever. And I don't understand how that makes you like a top recruit. Because I would rather see, like, a freshman go against the senior. Like, that's the hype in college. Or, like, a rookie going against, like, a pro. That's the hype in, like, professionals. But I don't see the hype of, like, a bunch of freshmen going against a bunch of freshmen and a bunch of seniors going against a bunch of seniors. And then we sit here and rank these kids 1 through 200 when they just play against their same age. And then they get to college and get wrecked by the senior. So I don't know.
It also sets up for monopolization of the club scene because it's a lot harder to get in if you need all same grad
Yeah,
year
the grad year crap.
open.
That's so true. I'm so happy we do open. Like, we have, like, refused to do grad year stuff. I just won't get with the bandwagon, and our kids get recruited. Like, I do think it kind of, like, opens up that monopoly standpoint. Because these kids are going to these tryouts and they have to make this grad year team or like their whole entire future's over, depending on the location or like hotbed area. I don't know. And then what? Now you have teams having like 6 different grad year teams in the same grad year. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
2026 black, 2026 white, 2026 gold. But then you like don't tell them which tier they're on, but they know which tier they're on. Jesus. Anyway, I would just like seeing like our middle schoolers, because we have some middle schoolers that play up. I think it's cool when our middle schoolers are balling out against these grad year teams. And they're like, what grade is she in? She's not a whatever. I'm like, yeah, no, she's in middle school and she's hanging with the big kids. Like, yeah, that's the point of lacrosse, play against some competitive people. All right, this podcast is brought to you by absolutely no one other than myself. So if you guys could buy some gear, the link's in the description. That like helps the podcast out a lot. Dear Lacrosse Gear, A&B Gear. I want to get some new gear out there. We have been on a Starbucks boycott. There are better options than Starbucks. So we went to Dutch Bros, like a lot. We're about to get the app because we've had Dutch Bros so much. So yeah, and I'm in prep, so I turned into like a caffeine connoisseur. Endorphins and dopamine to the max to get me through this day. And we're still on East Coast time, so we've been like waking up at dawn over here because all of our work is on the East Coast, so we're about 3 hours behind, which is cool in a way, because then like we're done early over here if we're working East Coast times. But if we're doing East Coast times and working West Coast, My day's about like 18 hours. Oh, did you see the national championships? Northwestern's hosting. I think that's dope. I've never played there.
I've played there. It's a sick environment. It really is.
It looks sick. Like, that would be a cool place to play. Not gonna lie.
I'm happy it's somewhere different.
Yeah, completely. And they deserve it. And then Tokyo is hosting World Lacrosse. Who did it last time? World Lacrosse was here last year. They announced they're doing like another All-Stars game as well. But like the teams aren't announced. So who's like in All-Stars for unannounced teams? Again, no shade. You're the game. But I'm just asking for my friend who's very curious to know, how do you become an all-star if we don't know how to become a pro? I don't know. Question of the century. Anyway, Northwestern. Who do you think's going to win the national championship this year?
I feel like there's a top 3 or 4 every year.
Okay, who's your top 4? Like, what are your predictions?
I feel like Northwestern has been on a good train, and they're going to have a great team. So, fending any injuries, I would picture them in the Final Four.
Okay.
I got to say Carolina. Go
Sure.
Heels.
Sure.
I would love to see a Syracuse.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be their year this year, but I would love to see a Syracuse.
Wishful thinking. But yeah, I agree. I think like they deserve something at some point. They've gotten so close.
Yeah.
But again, it's like,
I don't know that this is their moment.
this is the moment for them. Okay. One more.
I'm going to stick with my ACC roots and go with BC.
BC? Okay. I'm going to put Northwestern up there. I'm going to put UF in the mix.
Not Final Four.
Yeah?
Maybe.
I'm going to throw it out. Like, that's my gamble wild card. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good wild card.
That's a good wild card. Like, probably might not happen, but if it does, you heard it here first. Like, you know,
Early predictions.
Like early predictions. I'll give UF a little bit of a layup for that. I'm gonna put BC in there.
Yeah.
For sure. I think they've been very dominant. I think their coaching staff is continuing to climb a coaching ladder, even though she's at her like pinnacle right now, coaching with like USA and whatnot. But who knows? Maybe there's like more Olympic stuff. Who would be my fourth one? Wishful thinking, Syracuse, but I was very big on Syracuse last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was very big. I was like, oh, maybe it's their time, but no. And then they just lost everything, so no.
Yeah.
Maryland. One, I think they have a solid product. I don't think they get their current flowers. I think they get their past flowers a lot, but their current flowers, I mean, they've showed up in Final Four recently. I will say I like the attitude of Maryland players, like alumni, like the way they hold themselves, their coaching tree, like, yeah, some dude, but like deservingly so. They sit here and have like multiple rings in multiple locations in multiple areas. But I like Maryland. I like the like culture. I like how the players talk about their coaching staff. They say it's like the best 4 years of their life forever, blah, 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 always a terp, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's almost like gagging to listen to it all, but it's so cool because, like, you're like, damn, I wish I was part of something like that. Like, you know, like, I wish I could say that. So I'm grateful for all, like, the years I've had with all the schools I've had. I just never been at a set school for 4 years to sit back and be like, these past 4 years of my life have been great. I wasn't that girl. I was a transfer portal girly, so it's just what it is. Yeah. Those are my 4. Maryland, UF, Boston College, Northwestern.
It's a good 4.
Gamble 4.
Yeah.
Gamble 4, but it's a good 4. And then yours is Northwestern, BC,
Hughes,
UNC.
but like I kind of want to swap it for Maryland.
You want to swap it for Maryland? Get back on the Maryland train.
I just haven't paid attention recently enough, and I know that Maryland had a struggle bus of a year or 2. But I know that their product is great, so if they can bounce back from that.
They have a great product. I just
Yeah.
think the recruiting, I think other teams got good.
Yeah.
Like, I think people
The
started to
pool was
catch up.
spread.
Yeah, the pool was spread. Top 1 recruits decided to go elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're seeing recently, I would say within the past 3-4 years, where our top recruits go and how well they excel. So, is there correlation if you get the top recruit, you're in the Final 4? Hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss. Like, didn't Duke have like the top recruits at one point, and like didn't touch anything? So we went over predictions for our Final 4. Outlandish, but those are ours.
And uneducated.
And uneducated. Outlandish and uneducated guesses for our Final 4s. Gave Northwestern their flowers. I'm over the club scene a bit, since we are going to SandStorm. And I know a lot of club coaches watch this stuff, so I feel like a good topic to talk about from personal experience and just seeing it, just being around the block, you know? The difference between parenting and coaching. And I will say, my background, I went to school for a really long time. I was in school for like 6 years. a lot of education underneath my belt. And the final degree I ended up with was human development, which is basically like social work. But we learn a lot about parenting styles and methods and teaching philosophies and how certain cultures like raise children. And then I'm like, I'll never be a social worker, ever. And now I feel like coaching is basically social work. So here's my service, my civic duty. You know, it's a calling, what they say, comes to you. So now I'm coaching and I'm giving back. And I'm seeing all the things I learned about in school kind of come to life. And then I guess just the way our society is just always shape-shifting, you know, just as our world moves. And parenting methods in that sense. Because I feel like me and you, we played in dirt. You played in dirt, right? Like, I scraped my knees. I scraped my knees and my mommy didn't help me up. Like, you know, I got bullied. Like, bring bullying back. Like we turned out fine.
Hot take.
Like, hot take. Everything I say here is hot take. But, like I feel like the parenting nowadays, like, if you got in trouble in school, if I got in trouble in school, the first thing my parents said or asked was, what did you do? Like, I automatically was the problem. And more times than not, I probably was. I'm not gonna lie. But now, in today's world, kid comes home, so-and-so is mean or whatever, and now that parent's trying to get that person fired. like, it's like, now that parent's trying to destroy lives. Like, that is why I'll never, ever coach at, like, a school, I feel like. I'll always do, like, contract work, and you can pay for my services, and you can pay for my club, and this is how my club runs, and this is how we do things, and that's how we coach. But from, like, a school standpoint, unless I'm getting paid, like, buku money, and I have an AD that just has absolutely mad support for me, there's no way I'm stepping foot in that seat. Could you imagine us? Just because of the way parenting goes. Like, even at the college level, like, parents are still involved. Like, the amount of coaches that get fired because a parent is involved is insane. I'm gonna not throw shade, but like Virginia Tech, like a parent was involved. So like that's that. I feel like at the club scene, it's hard because we are dealing with children, you know? And our job as a coach is to really set them up for success on and off the field. Like, I don't just want them to be physically successful in their skills. I want them to be like functional humans in society and like give quality to our world, you know? But I feel like that becomes like a fine line with parenting and coaching, because we want to set the standard and discipline of our program and set the tone and set the culture. But how parents, one, talk about programs to their kids at home, how they view sports and athletics at home, how they view accountability, work ethic, discipline, all the things to be an athlete at home. I think the start of a great athlete starts at home, not on a good team, not with good players, not with good coaches. Like, both of our parents were like, do whatever you want as long as you're happy and you really like it and work hard. Like, we support you. And we both played at a very, very, very high level. And in the pro league, like, all the parents were talking, and like every parent had a basically general consensus saying, my daughter, hence the pro playing, just really loved the sport and was obsessed with it, like, and we just supported her. I feel like the players that are at the highest level and performing at the highest level just have supportive parents. That's it. Now, what support looks like differs from family to family. I work with private clients all day. I think all my parents are very supportive of their kid, but they show it very differently in just different ways, and their kid accepts support in different ways as well. I feel like the discipline act, like, I can only correct your kid so many times before it becomes like a parenting situation. I think you agree on that. Yeah. And I feel like when things happen outside of teams, like outside of like lacrosse, at like the youth level, because things happen, I don't think these kids really get what college lacrosse is going to be like. I don't think these kids really understand what it means to play at the Division I level, being a freshman, being fresh meat, having a coach cursing down your throat and ripping you to shreds, having to be able to put your body on the line for people you really just like just met and kind of care about, like, you know, and then you start trauma bonding with these people. Like, I don't think kids in today's world really get
this generation. I feel like it's overall preparing people for that D1 mindset. Boys get prepared for it. Women aren't prepared the same way, and I think it's unfair.
No, and I think the female athletes that have supportive father figures is a game changer. Like, I can see the difference between, it's one thing like your mom like hyping you up, like, thanks girl power woohoo, but like when your dad is giving you attention, and let's say you have a brother who's like also in sports, and like your dad is supporting the like women's sports like train, like those supportive parents are so different compared to a dad just being a wallet. Like, a dad just being a wallet compared to like a dad like playing catch with you. Different. I didn't even tell you, I have an A and B dad group message. Like, the dads
awesome.
are all in this group message. Usually it's like moms, they're scheduling and all this stuff, and mom this, mom that. But like, no, I have all the dads that like toss balls in my virtual sessions and like shoot on the kids. They asked to like connect with other dads. So I made a group message with A and B dads, and it pops off daily. And they watch the pod. They all watch the pod, and then they go, hey dads, and then they go on in the group, and like they talk, like it's funny. I'm about to add more. There's another one. So yeah, okay, but those are the dads I'm talking about. Like those dads, like all their kids are gonna go somewhere. Those daughters are all discipline driven, take accountability. They make sure their kid like schedules their own sessions. Like there's common denominators amongst these clients, and there's reasons why these kids will be and are successful, and it's because of the supportive role and dynamic of their household. And I will say it till my face bleeds blue, like it starts at home. And again, another thing, like being parents, maybe your kid's going through some adversity. Maybe your kid's having problems with another kid on the team. Like, how do you handle that? Do you step in? Do you talk to your other parent? Maybe that comes to that point. Like, that's up to you and your parenting style. Do you tell your kid to handle it? Like, because at what point does your kid have to, like, learn how to handle hard? Not saying we're parents. We don't have kids. Like, we're not over here trying to, like, tell parents how to parent, but just from like a coach's point of view, like I'm paid to coach, and this is what my coaching like can reach from a discipline standpoint and an accountability standpoint and a culture standpoint. At what point does parenting come in? Because if your kid doesn't fall in line with my discipline or standard or culture, then maybe this is just not the right team for you, and there's other teams that can fall in line with like the sets of discipline standards you have. But again, it starts at home. Even like the attitude and temperament towards your team. Like if your kid comes home moaning about what happened at practice, keep a positive light, because if your kid's gonna show up to practice, even though it was probably just a not that big of a deal problem, and now it's in a worse deal because mommy's over here talking. So I don't know. I feel like your kids are impressionable. They feed off your energy. They repeat things you say. We're very careful about like the things we put out, because they mimic us. They want to mimic. In conclusion, Gradiers suck. Our Final Four uneducated predictions are out. There's a huge difference between parenting and coaching. And unfortunately, sports is the final frontier of how we train and discipline our kids. Did I miss anything? Thanks for driving.
Keeping us safe.
Yeah. It's a pretty day out. Other than that, buy some gear. Thanks for supporting the pod. Yeah. Peace.